All right, I think we're live. Hey, everybody. For those who don't know me, my name's Kara Scheit, and I am a Premier Club Sales Director in the Unleashed National area. And I wanted to create a training video about specific changes and focuses that I specifically have either made or really gone back to the basics on recently in my business. And I have seen a dramatic change in my sales at my classes. Just to give you an idea of where I was, I was just kind of an okay seller. Wasn't terrible, but nothing phenomenal. And I kind of thought it was like just enough, and I'll supplement with team building and reorders and here and there. After really a big aha of tracking my numbers, there were a couple months that and I am working like in the target market. And so there were a couple months when I saw that my sales were like just over $1,700. Okay. And I'm like, okay, I'm working in the target market. I'm in front of a decent amount of people. Like, I'm not like, I was in front of like 27, 28 people. And my wholesale looked halfway decent. I mean, I knew that I wasn't necessarily clean on target for national court of sales, but I was happy with it. But at the same time, I realized that there was so much more room for growth, and that with my heart really being long-term with Mary Kay, and my heart having the National Court of Sales, I'm like, something's got to change. And so I decided to get back to the basics. And I actually shadowed a good girlfriend of mine that I knew was really strong in this area. And I kind of revisited just the certain parts of my skincare classes that I knew were an instrumental part of increasing my sales. And there's like just a few key specific areas that I wanted to touch on, but then also take time to share my individual close, which I think is really the most significant part of it. But wanted to share those with you because I know that my focus is in that area. I saw direct results, like literally overnight. I went from like January, February, I was selling, like I said, between like $1,700 and $1,800. And this is sales majorly of like new people that I'm in front of, that I'm talking about. Then come March with implementing this, I more than doubled to 4,000. And then I was like, well, let's keep doing this, because was that a fluke? Did I just get lucky? And in April, I exceeded it by over $4,200. And so to see that, like I said, that dramatic of a change in such a short window of time, and I know specifically, I have my notes here, I know specifically like where that came from. And so I just wanted to share it with you. So the first part, in my opinion, it does briefly start at the compliment time. So after you get through your products and you're going around, I used to clean up right away, but I really think a lot of people nowadays are visual. And also, I have to remind myself, like, I've been using the Ultimate Miracle Set plus some clear proof items and these supplemental products for quite some time. Like, I've been in Mary Kay for over 5 years. So I have to remember that it's second nature to me, but not someone else at my class. So I do take like maybe 20 seconds to briefly recap and just point like, okay, number 1's your cleanser, number 2 and 3 are day night solution, 4 is moisturizer, 5, and so on and so forth. And then maybe other additional like products that they did that maybe either for whatever reason weren't on their tray, or at the very beginning, remind them, hey, we did the oil-free eye makeup remover. So I just kind of do that to plant a seed and get their wheels turning. Then the compliment time obviously is helpful for them to kind of feed off of each other. And so, and again, just kind of get their wheels turning of what they want to go home with that night. Then my big focus is my set sheet. And this is my lovely set sheet. It's two-sided. I call it my menu style. I really, really love it. It's on my website, and I'm sure that even we can get this emailed out. And so I really take time to go through this. In the past, I would kind of briefly go over or only go over sets that they actually tried. Instead, I actually go through every single one. I emphasize the savings that they get as a set. I specifically point out the Ultimate Miracle set because that's pretty much what I do at all of my sessions. So I really emphasize like, this is what you tried today. Then when I get to the Miracle, I comment like, okay, you're taking out microdermabrasion, you're taking out firming eye cream, but then I talk about the savings that you get and how that's also influenced in the Ultimate. And then I briefly kind of go through these, and these are, so this is the Skin Invigorate, Botanicals, and Clear Proof. And with all of them, I kind of do almost like a mini advertisement for them. And depending on where the class went, I may have more specifically touched on them than others, depending on questions and who my audience is. But if I didn't, this is kind of a good refresher. So then I go through this, and this is after compliment time. Okay, so I go through this and I say, now you're going to have people start to flip over, and I'll be like, oh, no. Before you flip over, we're actually going to go ahead and create your profile card, and on the back of that profile card in the light pink area, we're just going to make like a little brain dump. Okay, we're just going to create your wish list of anything and everything you would just absolutely love to have. And so go ahead and jot down, I'm going to give you about 20 seconds, go ahead and jot down what sets on this front side you would just love to have, and then I will explain the back side. Okay, and I purposely say sets. Some people will ask, well, hey, can I put individual products? And I'll be, oh, of course, but I try to emphasize more on the sets, okay? Then I flip over to the back and I do the same thing, and I go through all of these. And up here is the Flawless Finish set, so I always demo this. And then Satin Hands and Satin Lips. If it's an initial session, they're at least doing satin lips. And then the other ones, it kind of depends. Dash Out the Door tends to be common, but if I'm around a lot of like simple, natural Dash Out the Door girls, I'll really ignore all color and really focus on this as a follow-up. But then just like I said on the front side, I'll do like almost like a mini advertisement of each set to still like talk about it and cater it to anybody who is looking for more stuff. Okay, so then before I explain the bottom, I go, okay, I'm going to give you ladies another 20 seconds. Go ahead and just jot down like any and all sets on the backside you would just love to add to your wish list. Okay. All right, so this is my favorite part. So this is really just the most bang for your buck. And I've emphasized earlier in the skincare class, and I also emphasized before I actually start with this set sheet, just as a reminder, there is never an obligation to make a purchase. And so I do choose to carry product on hand. So if there's something that you really fell in love with and want to go home with tonight, ideally I can get it to you tonight, or I can take care of shipping and get it to you very quickly. But this is more just to give you the best deal and bang for your buck. So I'm just going to go over this real quickly. So the queen of everything is choose any 5 sets. You get an additional set at 50% off. That is huge savings. That's the cost of a consultant. You get the travel roll-up bag for free, which is a $35 value, and then also the current gift with purchase. Okay. Now the princess of quite a lot is I think I'm a queen, but my wallet says otherwise. And I kind of giggle and they giggle and makes it lighthearted. And I say, so the princess is choose any 4 sets, receive the travel roll-up bag for free, and also the gift with purchase. Okay. So then their extra as the queen is that 6 set at 50% off. Then the Skin Saver is any skincare set on the front side and also the gift with purchase. Okay. And then I flip over and I say, just so you know, if you're eyeing any of the skincare, so like the Repair Miracle, or I'm sorry, Ultimate and Core Miracle set, those count as 4, 3, and 2 sets. And so I just want to point that out so you can see where those can bundle together, and chances are you already qualify for at least a princess, if not even a queen. And so that's my opportunity to say, hey, I'm giving you a really sweet deal here. And a lot of the times I'll get the response of like, oh, okay, that's awesome. Because if you notice on my set sheet, I don't actually discount the sets. They are paying full price for the set and what they're getting for free. is the $35 roll-up bag. And then for the queen, they get the half off that set. Okay. So I really think that's a way to not cut away at, or like not eat away at cost. All right. So that is kind of my set sheet and my roll up. And I want to emphasize with the wish list, just to actually take time for that. Like when you notice when I said like the beginning and the back, I said, okay, I'm going to give you about 20 seconds, because I think sometimes we can talk about the wish list, but then we quickly move on and they're like, what's happening? And then they don't even write anything down. And then you go to the individual close and you have nothing to work with. So I really think it's important to like specifically pause and say, okay, go ahead and write it down and like do that motion and like nod your head. And then one person will begin and they'll all begin. Okay. So that is my set sheet. Okay. And then again, they're doing the wish list on the back of their profile card. So I've gone over this bottom part. So then I go through my roll-up bag, okay? And just like kind of how I'm sitting here. Let's see if I can try and roll it up or open it up. So I open it all the way. I make it a really big deal. I do the hook and I literally like twist it and turn it. I'm just not standing right now. And so I call out like, so I love this swivel hook. It is so awesome. It's great for awkward bathroom space. Then I rip off that and I say it's awesome for on the go and a really busy schedule. And then I roll it up and I kind of toss it in the air and I go, okay, and it's awesome for traveling, fits perfect in the corner of a suitcase, duffel bag, that kind of thing, or even just storing away. And I'm animated. I know that we've probably all seen a travel roll-up bag close, but I'm like, you gotta make it really fun and animated and be like, girl, you gotta even have two. One that you can just keep for when you gotta go and traveling and vacation and it can look cute. And then another where you can just stuff everything in your bathroom. Okay. So then we go into the individual clothes. Okay. And actually back to here. So I did the roll up and I'll go. And so again, never an obligation to make a purchase, but I am able to take cash, check, or credit. And then I can even offer payment plans too. Okay, so that's a big part of my individual clothes. So I always want to make sure I say that as a group so it saves me a lot of time where I don't have to explain it individually. So then I go to the individual clothes and we all know that this is a separate spot of the party. It's not at the table with everybody. It's one-on-one. You want to be open to them. Their back is towards their friends so they're not distracted and you're not hiding anything. Okay. So you start off with the icebreaker questions and then you obviously go into closing the sale. Okay. So I say, all right, girl, so give me all your papers. So she gives me her profile card, her like referral sheet, just all her other sheets. And then I say, okay, let me just go ahead and kind of take a look at this and see what you jotted down. And so I go through and I'm sticking with her profile card. I like to stay with the profile card to do the customization and kind of work on that because I don't feel like it feels as final to her. It's more like I'm just kind of playing around and kind of detailing what she tried that day. So I will say on the front side, I almost always get the Ultimate Miracle set. Like it's rare if I get the Miracle and it's rare if sometimes the Repair depending on who my audience is, but I don't usually get these sets down here. Then every now and again, I'll get the Skin Invigorate. And this is more at an initial session to give you an idea. And then I almost always get the Flawless. And then these always seem to vary at the initial session too. They always kind of like 50-50, so to speak. So just to keep it simple, I'm going to base it off that she wrote down the Ultimate, the Skin Invigorate, and the Flawless Finish. Okay. Because then that qualifies her as 5 sets, which would put her would qualify her at least for the princess, and then if not, even a queen if she wants to add on an additional set at half off. So, okay, so I'm going through her profile card and I'm like, all right, for the ultimate set, we had you down for normal to dry, and that felt good, right? And so she's like, oh yeah. So then I'm jotting that down. And then for the flawless, or I'm sorry, then I'll put down like the or I have the Skin Invigorate brush. So I'll say, okay, awesome. I love that. And then I'll say for the flawless finish, so today you tried the CC cream. Did that feel good? Did you like that? Usually she says yes, but then occasionally I'll get more of a glamour girl who's like, actually, can you match me for a full coverage? I think I want more of that. Or, you know what? I really like mineral powder more. Would you be able to match me? Absolutely. So then I'm customizing that for her. And then I make sure, confirm what brush she wants, and then primer. And then I'm like, okay, cool. So based on what you have down here, and she may have jotted like individual, but just for simplicity, I'm just going to focus on sets right now. So I'm like, okay, girl, so let me just kind of play around with this. Okay, so my first step is to say, all right, let me like see your papers, or like, and then I'm like customizing. Then my second step is I'm saying, and kind of my transition there is that I'm saying, okay, so let me just kind of play around with this. Our whole thing is we want to give you the most bang for your buck and get you the best deal. So let me just kind of see where this comes to and what we can play around with. And if she seems hesitant there, you can re-emphasize about the payment plans, but most people are just like, okay, whatever. Because again, it's just on the back of her profile card that I'm working from. So I go ahead and I write down, okay, girl, well, for your ultimate set, you already count as 3 sets. And then I call out like any other sets that she got. And then I go, all right, so based on what you're looking at, you already qualify as a princess, and you can even bump yourself up to a queen and get an additional set at 50% off. Was there anything on the front or back side that you were hesitant to put down, but that you like really would absolutely love to have to your wish list? And sometimes I'll get, oh yeah, this, or other times I'll get, no, okay. So then I won't push that. I'll just say, all right, well then based on that, then you're either a queen or a princess. And then what I do is I say, okay, so let me kind of figure out these numbers for you. So I have my calculator, okay, and I'm working from that. And so what I do next is I total up all of her product. So before discounts, before the free roll-up bag, just anything and everything that would end up being at her house. Okay. So I total all of that up and I say, okay, girl, so for everything that you want today, this is the overall value, but this is not what your cost is. Okay. So she's like, okay. And usually, just so I don't have to go back, my C personality like will re-add things multiple times. So I'm like, just to kind of help save time and like prevent that, I will even write that like on the back of her profile card because I will need to go back to that to figure out her tax. Okay. So I do that and I say, okay, but because you're a queen, let's say she bumped up to that set, I'll say because you're a queen, we're going to take away $35. So I have the total there and I go minus 35. Okay. And if you notice, I have not said actual numbers, and I'm not just doing that because I don't have a calculator in front of me. I actually don't say the numbers. I say, this is your value, but this is not your cost. And so when we take away 35 bucks for the roll-up bag, that brings it down to this. And I'm just saying this or that value. I'm not actually verbalizing the number. I think because the actual number can make it like really real and seem bigger. And then also if it's a more intimate setting and you're not really far away from someone, even with the individual clothes, it's out of kind of respect for them because they may need to look into payment plans. Okay. So then I say, let's take away your 35 for the free roll-up bag. And then you also got your 6 set and you added on the satin hands and satin lips. So we're going to take half off of that. Okay. So that would bring it down. I think that's $26.50. So, okay. So let's go ahead and take off $26.50 for that. Okay. So this is what your total would come to. After all your perks and discounts. And then you also get the free gift with purchase too. And so she's like, okay. Like most of the time women are like, okay. And then, and sometimes I'll even get like, oh, all right, I can do that. Or if they're more like, okay, but haven't necessarily said like yes or no, then I will go into, yeah, so we can take care of this all today, or we can do we can do 2 payment plans and I'll take her total after discounts and divide it by 2 and show her that. and then write that down. And then I'll do the same for 4 payment plans. Okay. And if any of you are watching this and you're newer, I do want to say for the payment plans, you have to decide what you feel good about and what's best for you. It just is what it is. I'm more seasoned. I do have a full store. I am in a position to be able to offer that. But if you don't feel comfortable, then I would suggest maybe only offering the two payment plans initially, because you do want to think of like covering costs of the product, and that it could be a few weeks from when you get all of their payment plans. But I will say oftentimes when I show the 4 payments, they're like, oh, well, I could do 2 payment plans, or, oh, I could totally do 1. They just kind of need to mentally be able to process and have the time to think through, like, wait a second, this is when I get paid. Okay, yeah, that really isn't that much. I can totally make this work, versus only offering them like the one lump sum. And you do want to make sure, like, when out throughout the values, that you say a couple times, like before tax, just so they don't feel like you're trying to get anything more from them when you actually go to total it with the tax. So I just want to look at my notes here, just make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, so yeah, so kind of my next step, after, like, okay, we want to get you the most bang for your buck and the best deal, and I break down the numbers, I go into offering, so then I go into the payment plans, and so I offered the 2 or the 4, and I got the question of what's your transition? And to be honest, sometimes it changes per person, but it's kind of 50-50. Other times I'll just say that and they're already with an answer like, oh, okay, I could do that. Or other times after I show, I'll say, so what do you think? And that helps them to kind of process through. Now, ideally, they're going to say, okay, I'm good, and you can go ahead and total them up. But sometimes they're not going to say that, and they may say, I don't know if I can do all of that today. So then just kind of be on the ball a little bit and be like, well, no worries, no worries. Let's go ahead and take away your, and you want to take away like their next skincare. So I would take away her satin hands and satin lips and focus on the flawless finish and the ultimate miracle set. And then I would still emphasize like how that qualifies her for the princess bag and the free roll up. And I start from the beginning again, like this is your overall value. This is what it would be minus the $35 for the free roll-up bag, and then I work it back again. And if she's still hesitant, then I'll take away the next thing. And pretty much you can literally work it all the way back. When you master this, you can work it all the way back so that everyone is being offered at least a basic set and is going home as a skincare customer of yours. And a basic set is only $44. And worst case scenario, that's 4 payments of $11. And they're still a customer. And yes, that may not be ideal, but it's a way that you can get everyone on skincare somehow. Okay. So then once you get the okay of like, yeah, I can wrap your head around whether she said yes right off the bat to the queen's bag, or you just got her down to a basic set. Then this is where I actually transfer it to the sales slip. Okay. Because then that way, the whole time on the profile card, it hasn't been as, definite, like set in stone. And then also you're not wasting a whole bunch of sales slips. So then I'll transfer to that and I'll detail it out on there. And then the biggest thing is to just not jump the gun. And to ask, like once you get the okay and have it all written up, and ask and say, okay, awesome. What else would you like to go home with tonight? Because even if she was someone who needed the basic set, or maybe she's a queen's bag and she's already like totally doing several $100s with you, when you give her that opportunity to think of individual products, like maybe the new Lash Intensity mascara or other individual products out of this set sheet that maybe she didn't write down the full sets, and she gets that, she'll be like, well, wait a second, how much is this? And like say it's the oil-free eye makeup remover. You can be like, oh girl, that's only $15. And so when she compares that to her core, like what she's getting started with, some people are like, oh, okay, yeah, go ahead and add that on. And you literally keep saying that same phrase, like, okay, awesome. So what else would you want to go home with tonight? And you just keep saying that and keep saying that until finally she says, nope, I'm good. I'm good to go. And then you go ahead and total it up and figure out her sales tax and all of that. Okay. And so there's, so that kind of recaps. And I hope I was able to touch base there. I'm just kind of looking. I think the biggest thing is keep asking anything else you would want to go home with tonight. Not talking about numbers and just showing values and breaking down the payment plans. And then just kind of always thinking like, don't think ahead and don't talk ahead, but just know that if she says no, that's not the end of the world. She's not saying no to everything. She's just saying no to that initial value. And so you may just need to work it back there. So I hope this helps. And I, like I said, it has made a significant impact. I mean, to one person, I can sell over $300, over $400. And that's not necessarily unusual. And so my average per face went from $50 retail per face at my skincare classes to $100 literally overnight with these specific changes and focuses that I made. And I just I just challenge you to kind of ask yourself, like, am I actually doing this? Am I doing it to this degree? Like, where would I rate myself on a scale of 1 to 10? Am I maybe briefly talking about it, or am I truly taking the time and walking my customers through this? And it's been phenomenal. And so I just hope this blesses you and your business and your classes. And so thanks so much for your time today.